you. Give me a second. We're going to wait for a few minutes for people to come on. I just invited a few people and I'm hoping they join because this is a very important topic to me. I don't know about you, but it should be fun. It's a very, very, very challenging times we're all going through. But along the way, there's life lessons to be learned in everything that happens to us, right? Let's see. 1 second, yeah? I'm being a bad girl. I've been told several times it's rude to type while I'm talking to you guys, and I apologize, but some things just need to be done. Nothing personal. Some things just need to be done. So, oops. Anyways, how are you? It's whatever day it is. Excuse me, I'm a bit off. Every day's been like kind of jumbled into the other. Every day just seems like the same. I've been trying to keep it exciting by reading different books, playing my meditation CDs, and, you know, doing new things that I found. And it's been fun. So I made a wig. I hope you like it. Last week, a couple of days ago. It's kind of exciting. I swear to God. It's like all these things that I've always thought I want to do. All of a sudden I'm doing it because there's not much in the world to do at the moment. Not that I've ever been one to like go hang out or go to parties and things like that. I have to make sure the wig doesn't fall off, so just bear with me 1 second. But yeah, so I made the wig. It kind of looks nice, you know. It's my third time trying to make a wig. It's a very exciting time. And I'm doing my, what do you call it? My upholstery and things like that. It's kind of exciting. While we're waiting for people to come on though, you know, feel free to share the video. Do me a favor and share the video, and invite your friends to come in, and let's have a watch party if you can, because the topic today is really about social distancing. The word didn't really hit home until I went on social media this morning, and you know, I was thinking about it already anyways. I was like, look, people are talking about social distancing all of a sudden. It's cool. It's not really cool, but it's a necessity, right? Thank you, Ruthie. How are you? So it's like we're all mandated to social distance. And I started to think about it this morning. I'm like, I wonder what would happen if we all did this social distance thing in our real life. Because, and not when it's mandated, but when we all come together individually and say, this is what I'm going to be doing. Hi, Stella. Wait, let me just say hello to everybody again. So, hi, Stella. Hi, BC Cole. Hi, La Sibika. Hi, Kunle. Sorry. Hello, Faye Henry. Long time no see. So, this is going to be a very, very hi, Berth here. Mr. Adewoye, good afternoon. It's good to see all of you guys during the daytime, being able to just sit down and chat. But this is Moji Solo Wilson of Conversations, Authentic Conversations Emoji. And I know you're probably, for those of you guys that saw the picture yesterday, you're probably thinking, oh my God, she's got the same thing on. No, I got a whole collection of a line. So I'll be wearing all these jackets and dresses and things for the next few shows. I'm waiting for a few people to come on, so just bear with me. Don't go anywhere. Share the video. You already know we're going to have a very healthy, robust conversation about social distancing. Social distancing is something a lot of us have done. We just didn't know what the name was. So for those of you guys that are new to social distancing, it's pretty much stay by yourself. You know, if there's a virus out there, and you know the way to catch the virus is by interacting with people because it's airborne. When I woke up this morning, I was even thinking about social distancing in the spiritual realm, in the actual spiritual realm, because a lot of us, most of us, if not everybody, I believe is gifted with, some people call it intuition, some people call it power of discernment, some people just call it whatever, EBGBs, magic, miracles, whatever you call it. But a lot of us have been doing the social distancing thing without even knowing what it's called. And I did not start at 55 years old. I only started doing social distancing about 4 years ago, which basically means I started to live a life of where I cleansed myself. I cleansed my life. If I don't like what you're saying on your social page, it's your page. I have no right to disrespect you or tell you what to say on your page. So I remove you from my friend list, or I just unfollow you if you're somebody that I really like and sometimes say something that really sounds good. So I started this social distancing thing. Nobody knew the name. My wife has always done social distancing. She has 200 people on her Facebook list. So obviously she's always done social distancing. Basically, if I don't know you, I don't know your character, I don't know who you are spiritually, you can't come into my sphere. That's her thing. I just started this a few years ago. I started it in 2017. I had 5,000 friends before, right? And then when the wedding happened and pictures got out and things got crazy and people started calling me names and all sorts, I had to remove myself from a lot of people, and I kind of started living for me, by my rules and the rules of the universe, right? So what they call social distancing today, imagine if we all just applied it, Mr. Dewoye, to our own lives. And I'm like, you know, as I'm sitting there this morning when I wrote up what I wrote up about spirituality, I had no clue. I was still thinking on a small realm of spirituality. And then I ran into this gentleman's post. His name is Bruno Lemus. I didn't share it. Somebody else shared it. And it says, you realize how isolated you have been when a world pandemic happens and you need to make almost zero changes to your lifestyle. Because really, technically, if you think about it, aside of me traveling, I've never been one to go to parties with 1,000 people. I actually have a fear. I suffer from a little bit of claustrophobia. I don't like crowds. So anything more than like 30, 40, 50 people in the same room, I can't be in the room because I feel like the walls are going to close up on me. So I've always selected my parties and things. My dinner parties at home has always been small, 10, 15, 20 people at the max. So that is some sort of social distancing. But let's apply to each and every one of our lives. Basic. I'm going to start with the New York 5, right? Remember those 5 young boys that were arrested when they went out allegedly wilding with a bunch of little young kids? If they had practiced social distancing in those days, if you don't hang out with people that are gangbanging, if you don't hang out with people that are doing crazy things, if you see people jumping on the car, doing the wrong things, and you remove yourself from that situation, it's called social distancing. So the probability of getting arrested for doing things in a gang-like atmosphere will be reduced. You know? And I'm like, whoa. Once I started to knit these things together, I said, this is a whole show. We need to talk about it, Mr. Dewoye. We need to talk about these things amongst our friends, amongst our families, and amongst our black people in general. Because if you go America, if you go Nigeria, if you go everywhere, it's the same thing. Social distancing is part of the reasons why they have, what do they call it? You know, right now in America, we're voting for the next president. Social distancing is what we do when people decide to be Democratic or they decide to be a Republican. Because what you're doing is you're removing yourself from people that do not have the same belief or moral compass or social standards as you. That is social distancing. We just never knew the name. So if you are Republican and you don't want to vote for 45, you separate yourself or segregate yourself from the people, Republicans, that are going to be voting for 45, social distancing. Think about it. You know, we've been doing, this thing has been around for a long time, we just never knew the name. Same thing goes for when you're hanging out with people that don't believe in the things that you believe in. For instance, I'm a lesbian. I'm not going to go and hang out with people that believe that we should be hung. I'm not going to go and eat at Chick-fil-A's. I don't care how many millions of free food they're giving nurses and doctors and things. If a company is supporting anti-LGBTQ movements and things, something like conversion therapy, if they're paying for it and things like that, I socially distance myself from the company. I don't eat Chick-fil-A's. I've never been into their store. That's social distancing. If we all start to practice social distancing in our lives, folks, imagine for a second how easy this world would be. Social distancing is something that's been around for a long time. We just never knew what it was called. So now we do. And I think because now we do, when you know better, you do better. At least that's what Maya Angelou said. And that's something that I personally go by, because nobody's perfect. Nobody knows it all. We all do not know everything. So if we practice social distancing in our lives, spiritually, there's sometimes you meet a person and you just have an aversion to the person. They really seem nice. They're really cool. They're really saying all the right things and they look great and they smell good. But there's something about that person that just does not sit well with your personal spirit. But yet we're expected to stay in the realm, in the sphere of someone because, oh, they're rich, or because you might need them for a job, or because you might need them to do something for you later. So a lot of you keep people that are spiritually unclean in your space. Guilty. I've done it several times. What I now know is that when I distance myself from people that are disrespectful, people that don't know how to talk, people that don't talk bow, and that same thing goes for me, by the way, let's be real, because me, I just talk. I tell my truth to a fault. You know, I speak power into truth to a very, very high place of like scoring. So if you don't like me or you don't like what I say, don't unfollow me, unfriend me. It's called social distancing, right? Because look, if you think about it, every time you get on social media, a lot of us will read things that really upsets us for the day. Some people don't know how to move on when they read some crazy thing on somebody's post where they're discriminating against other cultures, or they're saying things that are demeaning to lesbians and gays, or they're just saying things, horrible things about black people in general. It upsets them. Not only does it upset them, it throws them off their day, throws them off their chi for the rest of the day. Why are you exposing yourself to a virus that happens to be in a human state? Maybe it's because it's affecting us spiritually, emotionally, and not medically. Look, they told everybody to stay home. Do you know how many people are working in jobs that they can't stand their bosses? Do you know how many people are working in jobs where they can't stand the job that they're doing? Right now, they said everybody go home because of a virus, and we're all home. We're not all hanging out. We're not going to movie theaters. We're not going to block parties. We're not going to all these wambe parties because we're expected to. We're actually all practicing social distancing. So what's stopping us from practicing social distancing in our regular normal lives? That's my question. And because if you really think about it, let's be real. If you think about social distancing, what is the difference between somebody, a friend of yours or a frenemy that talks ish about you all day, right? What's the difference between a friend of yours that talks about you in a negative form to all your friends and it's come back to you at least 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? How many of you continue to hang out with the same people, or the same person, go to dinner with the same person because they're in a group? How many of you continue to allow people that you know don't like you in your space, and you're miserable and, you know, upset every time you go to dinner with your bunch of friends and you're not able to enjoy yourself because Mr. Temedu is there, or because Jane Doe is there, or because Shukra is there? You already know that this person is going to go talk ish about you, but you still go and hang out with them. Why can't you just socially distance yourself and tell people, sorry, I'm not coming. Thank you for the invitation, but I'm not going to come, because if I come, I mean, you don't have to tell them why you're not coming, but you should be able to tell yourself not to go to places where you're not appreciated, not to go to places where when you get off the table, you will be the conversation. And definitely stop hanging out in places where you are the meal. Think about it. Stop hanging out in places where you are the meal. We allow so much stuff that's outside of ourselves to become viruses that makes us mentally ill, emotionally ill. Let's talk about financial viruses. Everybody has encountered a financial virus in their life. You have people that come to you, a lot of you have people that come to you and beg you for money or ask you to do them a favor, and you know damn well you shouldn't. You know damn well for 2 reasons. One, they don't really need that money, because every time you give somebody money from your pocket, you're taking away money from your mouth, from your vacation, from your health, from your retirement plan. So you have financial viruses eroding your future, eroding your health, eroding your mental state, because once you give them that money that you need for your rent, that you need for your food, that you need for your children's tuition, the money that you need for your retirement plan, because maybe you don't need the money right now, but there's no reason why you should not be saving the money for when you get older, because a lot of people like me that work for myself, I don't really have 401k or a retirement plan. So every dollar that I give to somebody, it's a sacrifice of my future to somebody else. Those are financial viruses. Financial viruses are placed in your life to erode your financial stability. A lot of us feel horrible, we feel terrible, or we feel guilty because we have a little bit of something that we worked for, and because somebody is asking for it and we don't give it to them, we are made to look bad. Somebody that on social media that I actually like today posted something about, what did she say? May I never go to somebody that thinks I'm going to scam them. And I just chuckled, because if I get 100 inboxes a day, at least 90 of those people don't really need the help. They just want to suck something from me that they believe that they have a right to. Those are financial viruses. We have emotional viruses, we have financial viruses, we have personal viruses, we have lovingitis viruses, we have all kinds of viruses that we deal with each day. But because nobody has given us an order to exercise, think about it, social distancing, we continue to do it. We continue to do it. We have to start to distance ourselves from people that erode our joy, especially at my age, honey. I'm 55 years old. Nothing is guaranteed in this world. I might wake up tomorrow, I might not wake up tomorrow. So I, Moji, have learned to enjoy my own company, to appreciate myself, to appreciate who I am. And anybody that tries to erode my joy, honey, I'm sorry. I have to exercise some social distancing. I didn't know that's what it's called. I mean, I had a guest in my home one time that called me an ashewo, and my wife was like, oh, that person can never come in this house again. I'm like, why? But then, lately I think about it. It's like less drama. When you exercise social distancing in your regular life, honey, there's less drama. Every time I hear people say, I don't like drama, it turns out they're the actual drama queens and kings. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like drama, and it basically means that you like to brush things under the rug. I'm no longer brushing things under the rug. I'm going to deal with it. There's a particular young lady on my Facebook page that pontificates all over my page. You're amazing. Oh my God, you're great. Oh my God, you're this. Whatever I post on my page, and she'll go to her page and post the exact opposite. One day I did a show about relationships or something like that. And of course, me, I talk about my life because I'm not talking about anybody else's. My name is not Amebo. My name is not page 6. So when I use my experiences as an example, the young lady, every time I post something on my page, she'll go to her page and sub my subject. This one day I posted something, I wrote up something that a lot of people liked, and they all thought it was amazing, and it was so transparent, and they commended me on my courage for sharing, and a lot of people came out and said, oh my God, I went through the same thing, and blah, 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 blah. And she came there and said, oh my God, you're amazing, you're such fantastic woman, and you're courageous, and this and that. And honey, she went to her page and said, people need to learn how to be private, because nobody's going to use what they don't know against you. Look, even if she wasn't talking to me, there was a huge emotional, lack of emotional, you guys are not helping me today. Lack of emotional intelligence. See, anybody that's not exercising emotional intelligence, before I post anything now, I try really hard to make sure, or I'll put a disclaimer saying, I'm not talking about you. This thing sounds like you, I'm not talking about you. There's no story I share that I don't ask for permission to share, unless it's somebody that, for some reason, I just have to share it so they don't go around hurting other people. We all have to understand something. This social distancing thing is something we should all exercise in our lives. When you start exercising social distancing, hi Kunle, a lot of things will fall off. A lot of people will fall off. A lot of people will realize that you don't have time to waste. We waste too much time trying to impress people that don't really matter. This girl's been on my page for almost 2 years, always clapping, always on every show, always on every post. But I noticed that every time I say something, she goes and says the opposite on her page. I put her in a group where we call transformations for people that want to change their lives and learn how to calibrate. She'll take what I post and go post it on her page. Great, share the news with everybody. But then she'll disagree with everything that I said, that she already agreed to in a private room. What did I do? Social distancing. I gave her 3 warnings. Yes, I did. Because I don't hold my tongue. Once I've told you, this bothers me, that bothers me, and you cannot make amend what you're doing, or you cannot curb what you're doing to understand that my feelings or my spirit is disturbed, honey, Ali Mongo. You just have to go. And you are not going to leave your page, so I unfriended myself from her. Because that is called social distancing. There's nothing wrong with what she does. But me, I'm 55. You're 20-something. You're just starting your life. You have no clue what the real world looks like. And the real world, your world might be different from Moji's world. But in Moji's world, we talk about the good, we talk about the bad, and we talk about the ugly. It's about accepting all of who we are. So if you are at the point in your life where you need to solve people to feel good about your life, instead of elevating others as they try to elevate the world, honey bunch, Ali Mongoni, you gotta go. You really have to go. And it's not you that's going. I remove myself. I've been known when I'm upset with people. Hi Wale, hi Ruthie, hi everybody. I've been known, Moji has been known, that when I get upset with people, I call them now, because one thing I learned is I socially distance myself from texting people things that I will hate later. So when you emotionally distance yourself, when you socially distance yourself from a person, it does not mean that you don't like the person. It just means that you don't like their ways. I can love you from afar. There's no reason, family that disrespect my life, my family that don't like the fact that, tell me that not to be, to go to pray and to do conversion therapy, I socially distance myself from them. I don't engage with them. I don't text them. I don't call them, because look, every time that somebody tells me that being gay is a choice, it erodes my joy. Every time somebody tells me, calls me an abomination and I need a deliverance, it erodes my joy. It erodes my sense of self. So guess what? I remove them from my life. Social distancing. We just didn't know that that's what it's called. For real. We just didn't know that's me. My friend circle is literally, I can count it on my hand. And there's the inner circle. And then there's the outside circle. And then there's the frenemies that surround me. We have to be able to categorize people for who they are. And understand that social distancing, or from a virus, is not all we need. This time that we are all in incubation or isolation or whatever the English word these people want to call it, this time that we are away or we've been told to stay by ourselves, let's use that time to go inward and figure out who we need to socially distance ourselves from. If you're hanging out with a bunch of derelicts that are not doing anything with their lives, that all they do is become keyboard heroes, all those people that are just shouting bow bow, and you look at their lives and they're not doing jack. Let me tell you, when my father used to tell me, you can't hang out with this person because you can't hang out with that person, I didn't understand it. But I later on realized that I consider my father as an elitist. So I'm going to confess something today. I did. I considered my father as an elitist, and I started to dump myself down to fit in with the crowd. I dumped myself down to fit in with the crowd. I stopped using big English words to fit in with the people I was hanging out with. I stopped doing a lot of things. I started acting like they were, so that I could feel like I belong. There's a lot of viruses around that's not this coronavirus. There's emotional viruses. There's financial viruses. There's lovingitis viruses. There's friends viruses. There's all kinds of viruses in our lives that we need to emotionally distance ourselves from. But of course, a lot of us don't see it that way until we've been slapped in the head with it. And sometimes people don't even see it. You know, the first round of antibiotics sometimes does not cure the illness that you have, and you have to go back to the doctor, because a lot of times you make the same mistake over and over and over. The reason being, you have not learned the lesson. A lot of things that happen to us is supposed to be life lessons that we learn from, that we can grow with. See, until you've passed a class, you can't get to the next level. People are upset these days because they have to stay indoors. People are upset because they have to practice what? Social distancing. Honey, all of us should have been practicing social distancing. Unfortunately, we did not need this medical virus to make us practice social distancing. Anybody or anything that's taken away from our lives, that's not sowing into our lives, is a virus of some sort that's eroding either financial, happiness, joy, health. Because when you are hanging out with groups of people, or you're with people that are doing crazy things, eventually you too will do the crazy thing just to feel accepted. And then it will not. And you're stuck for the rest of your life. There are family members that just use a lot of us like toilet paper. The only time we hear from them is when they want money, when they need something, those are what? Those are viruses. Viruses erode your mental state. Viruses erode your what? Mental state. They erode your financial state. They erode your spirituality. A spiritual, let me go there now. A spiritual virus that we allow in our lives are those pastors that continue to lie. Those pastors that continue to bring us together in a group or in a room where they're not really doing anything for society, where they are just, seriously, just taking our money. I've been to a lot of churches, honey, and then I realized the church was not the problem. I was the problem, so I sat down at home. And I started to do research, I started to read, I started to calibrate. Calibration is when you're connecting with the universe by meditating, when you're doing your vision boards, when you're speaking life into the world, into the universe. Instead of waiting for some pastor to come and pray for you, for some pastor to give you direction, for some pastor to tell you how to speak to God, when God said, I created you in my image. Your tongue is the greatest weapon of all times. I mean, come on now, all these things look, how many times do we go to church? This is one of the reasons why I like where I go now. They don't preach. We call them teachings. You know, they take a verse and they apply it to real life. And it's not connected by money. So if you go to one of those big mega churches where there's 160,000 people in the church, how the hell does the pastor really get to know you? Think about it. Spiritual virus. You're sick and your pastor tells you don't go to the hospital. You are walking to church on your foot wagon and the pastor is they're raising money in church to buy the pastor a Lamborghini Countach when you and your family are taking the bus to church. Think about it. Social distancing. Social distancing, I personally, is something that I believe that we all need to apply to all aspects of our lives. Because when I take a look at my personal life, I don't know about yours, but my personal life in the past maybe like 7 years, what I thought was painful, oh my God, what I really thought was painful, Kunle, was the blessing in disguise. Because when I started to pray, and this is no joke, when I started to pray for God to remove all my enemies, God help me remove my enemies, show me my enemies. Honey, friends started to fall off like Kilo did. Friends started to just fall off my life. I was like, what? I didn't understand it. I thought it was the witches that were coming after me, that I was losing all these people in my life. And then as time went by, they started to show their true colors. And what I didn't realize was, instead of believing in the source, I was believing in the resource. See, God is the source for me, and God could be Allah, it could be Buddha, it could be, I don't know what you worship. Whatever path you take to God, we only have one God. So I'm an omnist. I believe in God, the I am that I am. And what I realized is that when I started to believe in God, and not the pastors or the lemon or the this or the that, and stop believing in people, Because people, we're all imperfect. I am so imperfect, it's not funny. Because there will be days I'll say something that'll tick people off and I'll blame it on Mojikwa. I do. I blame it on Mojikwa because, you know, we all have 2 or 3 people that live in us. So I blame Mojikwa for a lot of things that I say that hurts people, but it's the truth. I don't intentionally go out there to hurt anybody. I just speak power into truth with a very unique voice. So when we start to live in light, let me tell you what happens. 2018, 2 years ago, I sat up there, New Year's Day. I was so excited and I was so proud of myself. And I deemed it the year of the truth because 2017 was the year I started praying for God to show me my enemies and such. Boy, did he show me my enemies. My enemies, most of the enemies are actually your friends. See, when we're not practicing social distancing from, I'm not saying don't ever talk to them, but there's no reason to know when you know people don't like you to bring them into your world. When you know people don't like you or people are jealous of you to bring them into your home, because all they'll do is get more jealous. My God. You know, I started not saying or doing or showing people what I do anymore because it got to the point where people that I thought were friends that would be happy because they saw me go through this, what I call a storm. They would be happy because finally Moji is up. Moji is doing great things. Moji is finally in love with the love of our life. What I realized is that a lot of these people that are in the closet married to the opposite gender, when I had the courage to walk away from everything that I believed in and lose almost everything except for my life and my children and start to rebuild my authentic self about 10, 12, 14 years ago, that they will be happy for me. When things finally find to click, when I finally met the love of my life, honey, they were the ones that hated me the most. They were the ones that hated me the most. Why? Because they were emotional viruses. Because they were jealous. Anybody that's jealous of you, they don't have to go see a babalawo, a voodoo doctor. They don't have to mix herbs together. They don't have to do a lot of things. Their thoughts and the things they say about you can erode your joy. It can derail you because where their mouth goes, your feet will never get there. So when somebody sits in a crowd of people that don't really know Moji and they say, oh, Moji, that girl, she's crazy, she's this, she's that, there's a lot of people in that sphere that would believe that. So a lot of things that are supposed to come your way will get derailed. You will never lose what belongs to you, but the journey of 1 year could turn into 5 because of what people say about you. Are you going to live your life to please people? No. What you do is you start emotional distancing as well as what? Social distancing from yourself, from them. You're not firing them, you're not shooting them, you're not wishing them death. You just know how to comport yourself among this kind of people. Because look, these kind of frenemies, they are even worse than this disease that maybe 1 in every God knows how many people will get. And yet we're all staying away. Think about it. We're all staying away from an illness out of 100 and out of what? I don't know how many people are in the US. If you do, please put it there. Out of whatever, maybe 5,000 cases 6,000 cases in America, according to what I read online a few minutes ago. And there's millions and millions of people. But yet we're all afraid and we're staying home. But you will still go hang out with your friend that you know is jealous of you, that wants you to fall and break your neck, wants to embarrass you with the secrets that they know about you. You still hang out with people that you invited into your home, fed, clothed, did everything for, and they go around talking ish about you. That is a worse virus that's hanging up in your living room that you open the door. I mean, you're not going to invite somebody that has coronavirus into your living room to chill and break bread with you, but you'll invite somebody that you know without a shadow of a doubt hates you into your home. Why? 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 Ask yourself those questions. You know, the more we all have time, this time that we've been gifted by the universe, by God, we need to start to think about how to change a lot of things in our lives. See, when my wife and I hit the papers a few years ago, right? We were not in the closet. We were both out. We were living La Viva Loca. And then somebody decided to out us, according to them. They wanted us, the world, to know who we were without our permission. See, I was very upset. I cried a lot. I felt betrayed. But when I started to ask the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever God is to you, Shango, Yemoja, I don't care. Whatever the I am that I am is to you. When I started to ask what I call God, the I am that I am, I started to ask God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to tell me? When somebody that I felt close to posted or shared or whatever the hell she did of our picture, I already knew the wedding was going to get out, but I didn't think they would take pictures and sell them. We had security, we had this, we had that. God, what are you doing? You told me to go out there and speak to your people. You told me that you will never leave me or forsake me. You told me that everything I've always wanted in my life, if I do your will, I will have. And even then, I started to pray that whatever is not good for me, may God not give it to me, because sometimes what we want is not good for us. And sometimes what is good for us is not what we want. So when I sat in front of your people and I spoke the truth, you said you would protect me. I said to God, and little by little, I started to get visions. Little by little, I started to see. Little by little, I started to dream. Little by little, I started to see clearly. Oh my God, was it painful? Oh God, was it painful? Those were really hard times. And then came the death threats, and then came the this, and then came the fact that we couldn't walk anywhere without anybody pointing at us and saying, oh, those are the lesbians. Oh, we'll kill you. We literally had to leave a whole state, and because we just had to. And that came from people that I thought were friends. Now, that part did not hurt the most. What hurt the most is a commentary on every picture that's lifted, on every video that's lifted, when they start calling me all kinds of stuff, when they start saying all kinds of bad, horrible things about me. It's enough to depress people. But what I did, me personally, I did what I now know is social distancing. I don't read the blogs. I don't read the vlogs. My wife does. I don't. Because I will become depressed. I will sleep all day. It's called social distancing. I remove myself from people that talk about other people. Don't come to me and gossip about somebody else. I don't want to hear it, because now I know that if you gossip about somebody else, honey, you will gossip about me. I'm not saying don't tell me what people are saying about me. Feel free to do that. But don't tell me what Shukra is doing in her house. Don't tell me what Shukra is doing in her bedroom. I really don't want to know. Social distancing. See, when you start socially distancing yourself from things and people and, financial viruses and emotional viruses and spiritual viruses, a lot of you guys are going to a church where the guy is a babalawo, where they've taken the bodies of young babies and they've put them in the altar so that they can be seeing visions, so that they, you don't know where these pastors get their powers from. And I'm not saying some people, because I have spiritual advisors, when things I don't understand, I call my reverend here, I call my monk, I call so many people, I call people that I respect spiritually, right? But how did I get there? I got there because I bumped my head a few times. And if you look in your life, you will know who's telling the truth and who's not. Because the problem with us humans is that a lot of us only want to hear good things. We don't want to hear bad things. I mean, you have a dream that this is happening to you, but you want somebody else to come and tell you what to do, how to do, and when to do. You have a dream that so and so is going on in your life, and you already know why you had that dream. But you're going to go to somebody else because you don't want to deal with reality. You're going to a church where you're being lied to. Women have cancer of the breast. Instead of going to see a doctor, doctors are created by God, Doctors are created by God. Doctors are gifted by God. The know-how, the brain cells, everything comes from the universe. When you start learning about spirituality and how to calibrate, and I've been doing this for years, I've been meditating for years. It wasn't until I got into the Ingbati community that I stopped doing a lot of the things that I know works for me. When you know that you are built in the image of God, why do you need to go to a church where the pastor is a babalawo, where the pastor is using voodoo and all kinds of ibijibis, and negative energy is what I call voodoo or hoodoo. There's positive energy and there's negative energy. Me, I believe in spirituality because I can dream, I see sometimes. And I can read people sometimes when I really apply myself. But we're all spiritually gifted, but yet we depend on pastors. That's why they have 10,000 people in a church. Last week, Sunday, when America said, what? Social distancing. The pastor actually had a service in his building because he needed the money and people still went. That's a spiritual virus right there. People rob you of your powers, of your natural gift. They rob you when you go and kneel down in front of one woli or babalawo. They already see the gift that you have, like Samson's hair. They said to Samson, God said to Samson, your hair is where your power is. Don't tell anybody. Samson went and told a beautiful woman that because they wanted to do jiggy jiggy. Can you imagine? A lot of you guys are sleeping with the wrong people. You're laying with the enemies every day and you know it. But you choose not to exercise social distancing. A lot of you are in marriages where you get into the marriage, you're flying high, you're doing well, everything is going great in your life. Then you get involved with this person, man, woman, dog, child, and they erode your success, they erode your joy, they erode everything in your life. But you're going to stay by hook or hellfire because you don't want to be known as a divorcee. A lot of you guys are in abusive relationships. That's a what? That's a relationship virus. You're in a relationship with somebody that smacks you around, that verbally abuses you, that's an alcoholic. You're in a relationship with somebody that does not want you to grow. You're in a relationship with somebody that does not invest anything into your life, but sucks you dry. That's a relationship virus. But you stay. See, when you're in a relationship, and look, before anybody comes at me, let me tell you something. Really, really well. Let me tell you something. When I speak power into truth with a very unique voice, because a lot of the things that I talk about, it's either I've experienced it or I've spoken to people that I have. I came from a previous really horrible, abusive relationship, not with a man, but with a woman. So I was the problem, not the person. Because the first time somebody smacks you, honey, it was their fault. The second, the third, the fourth, you're a volunteer. You're no longer a victim. And people are going to come into my inbox and say, Auntie Moji, how can you say that? Moji, how can you say that? The truth is, the first time, second time somebody beats you up, they are at fault. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, now it's your luggage to carry. It's your burden to carry. You can remove yourself from any situation. Look, people say, oh, I don't have the money. I don't know what I'll do. You're not the first person to do that. And until you walk away from a situation, you socially distance yourself from a situation that's eroding your joy, emotional stability, your mental stability, and all of that, you cannot grow. You cannot become who God created you to become until you socially distance yourself from a lot of things. The same way an alcoholic socially distances themselves. Remember, we just learned this social distance word. An alcoholic cannot become well until they socially distance themselves from alcohol and people that drink. That's the truth. Social distance is something that's been around for many, many years. I'm just grateful that they used it for this virus, because what it did was open a lot of people's, I'm sure I'm not the only one, that it opened our eyes to see the truth. Because when we are around people that speak truth, a lot of people don't like to be around people that speak truth. You don't want somebody to tell you, listen, honey. You don't want, if somebody inboxes me right now and says, Moji, your wig is crooked. First thing I'm like, oh, how dare her. But when I sit down and I think about it properly and I look in the mirror, I'll probably adjust the wig and say, oh, okay, that's better. And then send them a thank you note. We don't like people that will speak the truth to us. That's why a lot of people that speak truth, they don't get a lot of viewership. They get viewership of like a few people. Unless you are talking garbage. Half-naked people on social media, you guys are applauded. Shuku to them, so they do more. Me personally, I socially distance myself. Oh. I didn't know. That's what it's called. It just hit me this morning that a lot of us have been practicing social distancing without even knowing it. If you know somebody is going to erode your joy, distance yourself socially from them. There's no reason to engage. You're not going to push them in front of a bus if there's a bus coming. Just don't engage with them, because everybody has a market for them. You know, everybody was created, even a jackass Sometimes the most horrible relationships or friendships or partnerships or whatever ships you want to call it, the most turbulent ships are the ones that I've learned from. Problem is, I'm not going to stay on the Titanic that's sinking, because as optimistic a person I am, my prayer is to know when to get off the boat. Because if you keep banging your head on the wall all the time, at some point, you're going to end up with a concussion or a brain damage. One of the two. We as humans cannot continue to do what we do. You know, let me tell you a joke this morning. I swear to God, my life is a testimony of the grace of God. No joke. So yesterday or 2 days ago, I get an inbox, ding, 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 from a young woman in Nigeria. She claims she's ill. I said, okay. Right now, I'm not sure what I can do because I no longer make promises. I have a lot going on in our lives. I might know how much you need. Whatever the number was, came out to about maybe $500, 170,000 naira or something like that, about $500-600. No problem. Of course, I would have to move things around, whatever. But one thing I learned is ask questions. So I asked, what's wrong? She told me. So I said, okay, whatever. Get me the name of the doctor. Get me the name of the doctor. Get me the bank account number of the doctor and the phone number. Get me the bank account number to the hospital and the phone number to the doctor so I can speak to them directly once we've wired the money into their account. She comes back and tells me, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you. The doctor wants to give you his personal account. Wait. The doctor wants to give me his personal account when we're paying the hospital. I'm not doing that, right? I said to her, go back to him and tell him that we don't do that we send money directly to the hospital for the treatment and yada, yada, yada. She came back a few minutes ago to tell me, oh, auntie, hallelujah, I got all the money. You got $170,000, naira, within 24 hours. See, social distancing includes building barriers, boundaries around yourself. Before, I used to come on here and talk about, oh, this person 419 me, oh, this person did this, that person did this. I realized that they are not the problem. I was the problem. See, when you're doing Captain Save a Hole, when you want to save the world, even though they're not your assignment, hi Sister Bola, even though everybody is not your assignment, and you don't take the time to ask God for directions, or you don't take the time to ask Allah for directions because it feels good to be a hero. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel great when I help people. Why do you think I go and I go to the food pantry and help homeless people? I go and bag food for this person. I go here, I go there to help people because it makes me feel good. I'm not doing it for them. I'm sorry, but it's my truth. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. Because if it didn't make me feel good, I wouldn't do those things. But one thing I've learned is that to avoid getting jacked by our Nigerian people, the more questions you ask, the better off you'll be. Because it hurts. It erodes my joy and the desire to help other people. When somebody 419s me, you can't call me from an iPhone 11, tell me you're hungry. From an iPhone 11, it's $1,100. I'm still on iPhone 7. That's why I can afford to send money to people that need money. iPhone 7. We're on iPhone 11 in America. But I choose to continue to use my iPhone 7 so that I'm not wasting what I call money. But they have iPhone 11 in Nigeria talking about I can't eat. Honey, go sell your phone. If that makes me a mean person, shuku to all of you. If that makes me a crazy, shuku to all of you. But one thing I have learned is to what? Exercise social distancing from cases of people that sound like 419. Building a boundary around yourself is basically what social distancing is. Building a boundary around yourself. When somebody is in your inbox today talking about I can't feed my kids, and they're on Facebook tomorrow in brand new outfits, smiling and talking, showing off a brand new Louis Vuitton bag that they just got, you have a problem. They don't, because they're perfectly happy in their life. You have a problem, they don't. Social distancing is something that's hard, but necessary. Building boundaries around your finances, very important, because at the end of the day, when you become older, people can't go to work today. Some people have been laid off. Delta is about to lay off, according to data that I saw on CNN, on their website, Delta Airlines has to lay off a lot of people because there's no flights. Costco, all these stores, all these businesses, restaurants and stuff, they had to send their people home. Imagine while you're trying to be captain, save a hoe. Oops, did I say the HO word? Sorry. Oh, you're trying to be captain, save the world. Right? A lot of these people are living La Viva Loca. And then you quit. You know, everybody in America is 3 or 4 paychecks away from poverty. And now we find ourselves with this virus that's eroding our financial state, eroding our emotional state, eroding some people's health. And we've all been told to exercise social distancing. My people, I beg, we have to start to exercise emotional distancing, financial distancing from financial viruses, emotional distancing from emotional vampires, name it. There's ways of saving ourselves by building boundaries around ourselves. You know, I'm a very, very transparent person. I speak what I need to speak and I keep moving because I believe visibility is key. I'm a Nigerian lesbian woman who in Nigeria is deemed a criminal. I don't expose myself to homophobic people. When I see that you're homophobic, I unfriend myself from your page because you have the right to put whatever you want to put on your page. But I, Moji, have a right to remove, to socially distance myself from that. The same way I'm not going to allow KKK people on my page, I socially distance myself from KKK people. All the energies I used to waste on people that post this and people that post that and people that say this, honey, I don't waste my time anymore. I unfriend you. If you come at me for something and I know I'm not wrong and I try and have conversation with you and it's not working, and every time you see me on a page, you're going to abuse me, call me an abomination, I what? Socially distance myself from you by click unfriending myself. I'm not unfriending you. I am unfriending myself from your page. Social distancing. Viruses are everywhere in our lives. It's just not medical. If all you do is come to Moji and beg Moji for money, I'm going to socially distance myself from you. Because, honey, if you're not looking for a way to work, feed yourself, get a business together, eventually we are both going to be broke. Because I can't afford to support the whole freaking world. So what we do is we empower people through education, through motivation, through mentoring, through a whole lot of stuff. Look, last year was rough. I had a case last year where a kid that we've been supporting all year, trying to get he just wasn't even going to attend his classes that we already paid for. Then something happened and I see on Facebook how the kid is eating a 1,200 naira a slice red velvet cake. What? Wait! Not the red velvet cake was not the problem. The problem is that somebody else is paying for your tuition, for your room and board, for your transportation, for your food, and you think red velvet cake is what you need in a country like Nigeria where people cannot even afford to get 3 square meals. But you are good enough. Let's forget the fact that you're eating red velvet cake on somebody else's sweat. But now you're going to post it on social media and be puffing, showing off. When people don't know that somebody, a whole other family is not eating red velvet cake so that you can have all those things. Socially distance yourself from people that are financial vampires of viruses. Emotional virus, you distance yourself from. Business virus, stop hanging out with people that are not going anywhere. If you know you want to be a nurse and you're hanging out with people that are content with being whatever it is that they're being at the moment, they will make you feel bad about your life. You know, because one thing I realized is that when I was single and all these people were around me that were single, we were all miserably single or miserable pretending to be happy together. A lot of us were happy until we got, you know, doing what we're doing because we were distracted by so much ish around us. But a lot of them were miserable. And then you have the married miserable ones as well that enjoy being in your space because, you know, they look down on you because you're single when their married life is even worse than yours. So when I finally found love, or a lot of them became anti-Moji. Oh, she's proud. Oh, she's this. Wait, Yashukra, when I was riding a bicycle, you bitches did not complain. You were here telling me how strong I am and how wonderful I am. And now that I'm driving a Corvette, your stupid selves should be the ones applauding me and saying shuku to you for hanging in there, shuku to you for doing well, shuku to you for fighting to be better, shuku to you for living your authentic life, to be able to get to the point where you found the right person. Stop thinking you can do better. Sometimes you yourself go at the virus, you know that, because of the way you think about yourself. You yourself are your own virus because of the way you think about yourself. You yourself are your own virus because of the way you feel about yourself. You yourself are the virus because of the things you tell yourself. Sometimes you yourself need to take antibiotics. You know how sometimes when people are full of ish, they're constipated. So they have to take a what? A laxative. Sometimes you need to socially distance yourself from everything and everybody that makes you feel like crap. Sometimes you need to distance yourself from social media so you don't look at other people's lives and want to commit suicide. Thing is, a lot of people's social media profiles and lives are fake. They're not really living. You know, I come out here and tell you my children are doing scoing. I come out here and tell you, I don't know, I have 12 strands of hair on my head. This is a weave. Most people don't do that. I'm not saying that I'm great or anything. I'm saying that I no longer have to impress anybody but myself and God. God first and then me. The only person I owe my truth to, my fiduciary, my anything to. See, for me to lie to you, according to somebody, I forget who told me that once before, I have to respect you more than I respect myself. So now, what you see is what you get. I wear wigs. I make my own wigs. So shuku to me. You know, you do what makes you feel, what sets your soul on fire. I forget who said that too. Do what sets your soul on fire and stop trying to fit in. God created you as a circle and you're trying to fit it into a square. So you lose, you have anxiety attacks. You lose your sense of self. You start becoming afraid because you are your own virus. When you start to live in truth and you're not trying to impress anybody and you're not trying to do things because, oh, Halivat owns a shop and then you run and open up a shop. Not understanding that Halivat's destiny is different from yours. You both can carry the same damn things and people will go to her because of who she is and because that's her calling. We sometimes can be our own virus. And how do we socially distance ourselves from our own, being our own viruses? You take time away from people and go within yourself and search. Try to get to know the authentic you. Because sometimes we have been told who we are that we start to believe it. We have tried to fit in so many places that we have become a chameleon that we don't even recognize our authentic selves anymore. My thing is, and I don't know if it's your truth, but my truth is, until you become who God created you to be, until you start to live your authentic self, you will be your own virus. Until you spend time getting to know yourself, your true self, and getting rid and allowing all those other selves to die, you can't get the keys to your promised land. You'll just find yourself going around in circles. Every relationship you get into will be the same. You'll be with a man and the man will be the same Jekuredu man because you keep choosing the same people in different bodies. Sometimes different genders. I know a lot of people, women that say they're bi, they're this, they're that, and they're not really bi. You know, they just like what they get from women or they like what they get from men. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't do you. This is my opinion. And again, you're allowed to do social distancing if you don't like what Moji says. If you don't like what I speak about, social distance yourself. Because why waste your life? Time is the most precious thing we can give anybody. And too many of us spend time trying to impress people that we shouldn't even give a horse's bleep about. We spend too much time because this is my daughter, because this is my mother, because oh my God, we share the same bloodline. I have to be in the same space with that person. No, you don't. You can love people from afar. There's nothing wrong with that. You sometimes have to socially distance yourself from people that bring you down, from things that bring you down, from situations and places that bring you down. Build boundaries around your relationships. Stop allowing people to come in there and erode the foundation that you built for your relationship. Don't allow a man to come onto your page and call you, hey dearie, hey honey bunch, you look sexy today, knowing fully well that your partner on the page, knowing fully well that your partner does not, I repeat, your partner is not worried about your relationship. Your partner is just, the tolerance for BS, for disrespect is just low. So now that's going to create somewhat. It's going to create a little bit of scoin in your house. Don't allow that. Anybody that does not respect your relationship to another adult, I'm not talking about, something else, but a relationship with two consenting adults. Me, if you decide you want to be with a person that beats you up and you want to be a volunteer, and I give you my advice, the last thing I tell people lately is don't come to me. Do not, because I don't have the time. Because they're time viruses. As a certified life coach, my job is to get people from where they are now to where they want to be. It's an action. I'm not a shrink. A shrink is the one, a therapist or psychotherapist or psychoanalyst or psychiatric is the person you call and you just sit on their couch and you whine and you pay them money. And you complain about the same thing for 2-3 years. Been there, done that. I am a life coach. A life coach, like a basketball coach or a football coach, is somebody that gets you to make moves that will get you to become the best version of yourself. So I'm not the one you'll call about your husband that's drinking alcohol every day. I'm not. That's a psychotherapist. I'm not the one you'll call and whine about how your business is not going right. I'll listen to you 1 time, 2 times. After that, we need to create an action plan. If you're not willing to go by the actions or do the things you need to do to get you out of where you are to where you need to be, honey, I leave on go. Socially distancing myself from you. So if there's any one of you on this thread that has not heard from me in a long time, it's because I socially distance myself from you. Because I am not going to sit there and allow you to dump your ish on me. I believe we should have action plan. Your business is not going well. Okay, how about we try it this way, we try it that way, we do it this way, we do it that way. But you are the one that has to do the work, not me. I'm not a therapist. So don't come and be complaining and dumping your luggage in my own living room. Honey, I have my own. That's why I pay therapists. But if you want to transform your life, I am a transformational life coach. I will hold your hand, I will guide you, I will walk with you, but it's still you that has to make the move. Part of the biggest problem is that people are not willing to do the work to get where they need to get. You're not willing to let go of the bad habits you have. You're not willing to socially distance yourself from the gang or the people, the gangbangers. And I say gangbangers. All of you guys are taking every Saturday, every Sunday, going to party. You're a gang. I'm sorry, but you are a gang. I went to a church once where in that particular church, I'm not going to say the name, all the young women's association, all they wanted to talk about every Sunday was which party. Oh, Shukura is having a party tomorrow. Oh, Temedu is turning his father that died 100 years ago over. And it's all about let's buy Gele, let's do this. So here comes Moji, Miss Social Activist. And I went into a few meetings, I sat and I listened. And after a while, I got tired of listening to the same garbage because life is short. So Miss Moji goes in there and says, oh, by the way, how about we start a soup kitchen? Because the government is giving grants and we can help the neighborhood and we can have all these Nigerian people that are on low income, we can have them come together and every day we can volunteer. Honey, I became public enemy number 1. All of a sudden, Moji this, Moji that. What did I do? I socially distanced myself. I didn't know that's what it was called back then, but I removed myself from that situation. I removed myself from that church. That's what socially distancing oneself is about. If you don't like the way you live your life right now, you must change it. You must do something different to get a different result. I don't remember whose quote that was, but it's out there. You cannot continue to do the same things. See, if when this virus started and they said everybody keep doing the same thing, more than 6,000 people in America would test positive for the virus today. But because they said, we are going to shut down schools, we are going to do this, with action is why this virus has not spread out as much as it should. When you do not socially distance yourself from emotional vampires, you acquire low self-esteem, you acquire anxiety, you acquire all kinds of emotional baggages that does not even belong to you, because you choose to keep yourself in the same space. Let's be real. If people keep asking you and begging you for money and you keep giving it to them without asking questions, you are allowing financial viruses to come into your financial space, and they'll erode your money, and you can't blame them because you allowed it. See, the moment you start building boundaries by asking questions, I'm not saying don't give people money, ask questions, find out what they need it for, make sure that they do need it, because look, we all need money. I don't care how rich you are, you need money, I need money, Donald Trump needs, everybody needs money. Nobody ever has enough money. My prayer every day is to make more money so that I can help more people. But if you allow people to come into your space every day to make you feel, part of you not even, Moji, let me say it. Part of you and I always jumping to give people what they ask us for is because it makes us feel better about our lives. It makes us feel good. So if you have to do something like that to make you feel good, you need to check yourself like I always check myself. If you are a yes person, it means you don't love yourself. I say yes now sometimes. Before I used to say yes to anything. I wouldn't pay my rent when things were bad. And I would be paying people's rents. I would pay my own bills. I would be paying other people's bills. Because I didn't really love me. The moment you fall in love with yourself, you start exercising social distancing. Because you build a barrier around yourself. So that people, barracudas, leeches, emotional vampires, winches, so that they don't come into your space and erode your finances, erode your joy, erode your this. Look at all these politicians in Nigeria. Nigerians continue to complain. Let's talk about the politicians 1 second before I get off the show. Politicians in Nigeria, you guys keep complaining they're all thieves, they're all this, they're all that. But yet you vote for them every 2 or 3 or 4, whatever number of years in Nigeria. Imagine if people practice, Shebi today in Nigeria, they shut down the borders in Nigeria because of this virus. Now flip it. Make all your politicians viruses. All those politicians that have stolen billions and millions and gazillions of dollars, not even naira. By the way, understand that 1 naira is 375. $1 is 375 naira today. Now imagine the Minister of Petroleum that allegedly stole over $500 million. Or maybe it's billions, I don't even know. But she stole loads of money. $3,000 is 1 million. Imagine how much money that person stole. Picture that person as a virus that's affected billions of people all over the world. When we start to practice social distancing from things and people that don't sit well with our spirit, things and people that don't sit well with our finances, things and people that don't sit well with where we want to go. You cannot want to be a lawyer now be going to Bible school to become a pastor, yet you want to be a lawyer. They're not giving you your law degree in church. If you want to be a pastor, you go to school to become a pastor. You don't go to school to become a lawyer while studying pastoral, whatever it is that they do. You don't go to become a carpenter apprentice If you want to be a brain surgeon, you go to medical school. If you're sitting in a job today and that's not what lights the fire in your soul or spirit, you have a virus in your life that needs to be removed. You need to socially distance yourself from that virus. A lot of you guys are sitting at home. This is your opportunity to take classes online so that when you go back to work, you can be promoted. So that thing that we do that's called, where you procrastinate, that's a virus. There's so many viruses. Oh my God, we could be here for the next 10 hours. But I really don't want to be here for the next 10 hours because there's too many viruses in our life. Sit down while I ask you all. I mean, I can't command you. All I can do is ask you, because if your life is better and their life is better, there'll be less hating of other people's lives that are good. When we're all doing, a lot of us are doing well, we can all become friends. Me, one of the things I've decided to do, and you can call me a snob, you can call me whatever you want to call me, is that I will no longer allow people that don't have a vision to become better, don't have a drive to do better, don't want to do better. I will no longer allow them to be my friends. Because two things happen. See, if I'm trying to go here and I'm here and my friend is here and chooses not to do better, chooses not to change their lives, chooses not to do the work, for us to get along, it's either they drag me down or I come down to their level. Even if they don't drag me down intentionally, every time they need something, they'll come to me. Every time they want something, they'll come to me. Little by little, I'm climbing down. So I have no issues being friends with people that are here, but want to go here. And I will always have friends that are here, doing a lot better than me, that I look up to. Because when I have people that I can look up to, I'm looking up. I'm not looking down. Because when you continue to look down, you will eventually go down. And that's what I find to be one of the biggest problems in our community, is that people huddle together because they have things in common, because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they have the shame virus. Me, I have no shame. If I don't know something, I say, pardon me on a thread. Pardon my ignorance. Even when I know, I still say, pardon my ignorance, because I want to learn more. Maybe you know something that I don't know. I read a lot, not because I think I'm going to be Professor Mbati, but because reading is how you acquire wisdom. Asking questions is how you acquire wisdom. You cannot allow the virus, the shame virus, to erode your growth. So, if you're afraid of people calling you a snob because you want better for your life, shuku to you. Me, I'm not. Because I know people that have private jets. I know people that are driving Lamborghini Countachs. I'm not looking for a private jet. I'm not looking for a Lamborghini Countach. But that energy that they used to get where they are, I want some of it. So that I can be the best version of who Moji wants to be, or who Moji was created to be. If you want to grow in your life, you need to start exercising social what? Social distancing. From the things that you know does not resonate with your spirit and your soul. From the things that does not resonate with your integrity. From the things that does not resonate with your emotional, financial. You're not talking, you're quiet today, man. You have to, you must. And if you don't believe you must, you stay where you are. Those of us that want to do better with our lives, those of us that want to grow, we will continue to join the bandwagons of the people that even after this period is over, because it will be, nothing lasts forever, that will take this time, what we've learned from this time, that we will take it into our own personal lives and continue to exercise. I just got an inbox. I'm sorry. That we'll continue to exercise social distancing. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys get it. If you get it, if what I said sits with your soul and you think it makes sense and you want to share the video, please share the video so other people can hear it. Or continue to talk about these things in your groups, because there's billions and billions of the people in the world. We all need to take ideas and share them in the world so that the people that it resonates with can do something with it. Because without building boundaries around ourselves, without exercising social distancing in all our lives, we're not going to grow, period. This is Moji Social Wilson saying thank you for joining me. The show is called Authentic Conversations with Moji, and I hope to see you on Friday. May our tomorrow be better than our today. Namaste.